Hey, good Sunday to you all. This is Steve with Real Progressives. We are all experiencing, I think, and you could see it everywhere you look, the Bernie Sanders activists of the last year, all of us have felt a little bit of the air let out of our bags as Bernie dropped out of the race and as Bernie went over and endorsed Hillary. I think most of us felt a tremendous sense of loss when that occurred. I think that all of us felt a little bit rudderless when that happened. And I think that what that did was it pointed to all of us, it should have pointed to you, that movements cannot be about an individual. Movements cannot be about an individual, otherwise movements die. Case in point, there is another activist group around that has a very large following, and the individual is a very wealthy guy and has access to resources and probably wasn't political before Bernie Sanders and got involved in politics because of Bernie Sanders, and now that Bernie Sanders isn't there, he's kind of lost a little bit of his fever for the movement. And that is a cautionary tale, in my opinion, to those people who are new political people or who are had been asleep for a while, woke up for a little while, and are finding themselves going back to sleep yet again. People are struggling. And this is a recurring theme of my talks. People are struggling. The world is not okay. And when you talk about activism and you think about, well, why are people being divisive? Why aren't they uniting? It's because many of us, no matter how good it looks on paper, are desperate. I mean, for real, desperate. And like when you look at people's paychecks and you look at their cars in the driveway or you look at the different clothes they wear and stuff like that, you can get an entirely different perspective than what's really happening. Case in point, I used to drive a BMW 3 Series. From the road, it looked like I had it going on. But if you didn't see me driving around, you didn't realize that I had no reverse. I had to coast through parking spots. I owed $10,000 on a vehicle that was worth maybe $1,500. I couldn't get it fixed because I couldn't afford to get it fixed. So I was stuck with a car that was leaking oil everywhere, was overheating, was upside down, but it said BMW on it. So people got it in their minds that, well, he's got it going on. If he really was serious about struggling, he'd get rid of that BMW and get himself a more economical car, you know. And so this whole judging books by their cover thing kicked in, and people didn't understand. So when we're talking about doing activism for a political movement, and you see people being divisive or too angry or saying mean things or really passionate about it, and they're not willing to go along to get along. Well, there's a reason for that, isn't there? Everybody's not okay. Everybody's not okay. And everybody's got a different thing going on. You know, most of you who pay attention to this page, and my words, know that I've got military-age children, boys and girls, and I desperately don't want them to die. And so while I wept openly for you guys, so you understood that this was not just some sort of a silly thing we do for attention, so you understood point blank that this movement to me meant everything to me, that I was putting everything on the line because I had things to lose here. I had things for my own family that I had to lose. And so I wanted you to know that this wasn't just sort of like, something I did for fun. It was real to me. Well, when Bernie lost, got robbed, stolen, frauded, whatever we want to say, let's just say when Bernie was no longer an active candidate for the presidency, many of us checked out. That was a difficult time. It was too difficult. We had admins on this team that literally quit. They just didn't show up anymore. They didn't even let us know they were gone. They just decided, well, took a lot out of me, I'm done. And they went their merry way. And you know what? To each their own. But for those of us still fighting, and we're fighting for Jill, right? I'm telling you right now, Bernie was my top choice. Going for Jill Stein was a difficult switch. I'm not saying that I don't agree with everything she says. I want you to be very, very aware of what I'm saying here. This shift is a very difficult shift to make because there was an emotional tie to the person of Bernie Sanders. The way he said things, the way he carried himself, the focus of the strength of his passion. His New York accent kind of gave you a feeling of strength. And we wanted that. We wanted to feel like somebody with strength had our back. And so when you hear Jill speak, it's a little different, right? I mean, seriously, let's be fair. I'm adamantly, strongly supporting Jill Stein. We focused our entire efforts on promoting Jill Stein right now. Because until November, Jill Stein is who we are supporting hardcore. But for many, that's not enough. For many, they're struggling with this cult of personality. They're struggling with not having a leader that they can fall behind. They've lost the passion. And I understand that. I do. I honestly do. And that's what the nature of this stream is about. The passion from this day forward, it should have always been this way. But for you and me, that passion needs to really be about the movement. It needs to be about the issues. And it needs to be in your heart, so that when people come and people go, like Tim Canova. Take Tim Canova, for example. Tim Canova posted on Twitter the other day that we need a Green New Deal. Last check I had, he was running as a blue. But the fact is that Tim is all about the movement, right? That's what I'm seeing anyway. And what I'm seeing from real progressives, and we get a lot of flack for it, and that's okay. I got broad shoulders. I can handle it. We are all about the movement, and we don't mind putting Bernie Sanders down when we think he's done something wrong. And we don't mind saying something really good when we think Bernie Sanders has done something right. We love Bernie Sanders. I love my kids, but guess what? When my kids are wrong, they get told they were wrong. They don't get, don't say anything bad about Bernie. Okay? And I see a lot of people out there who's like, oh, this page is bashing Bernie. No, we're not. We are all about the movement. Okay? And the movement never went to Hillary. Period. No matter what. I don't care if a gun was held to his head. All jokes aside, I don't care. The movement doesn't go that direction. That is not the movement. And so with all due respect, we have to shift gears or we die. It's that simple. The movement dies if you don't pick up the next progressive standing. And so all the feels in the world, all that emotionalism that you felt from Bernie, all that passion you were able to pull out with your, hey, I feel the burn. Shift it to feel the fern. And if you can't manufacture enthusiasm the way you did for Bernie for Jill, that's okay. A lot of people can't. But she is the next progressive standing. And she's fighting for all the same issues we are. And she's got an even tougher hill to climb than Bernie did. Just to get to 15%. Just to get to that level. So it really is for all of our good. It has got to be about the movement. It can't be about feeling some emotional attachment to Bernie Sanders. You're killing us with that shit. I'm not joking. When you look at the African American civil rights movement, every time a leader died, every time an MLK got gunned down, every time a Malcolm X got gunned down, whoever did it, every time someone gets gunned down, you can't just say, well, shit, the movement's over, folks. I had a personal attachment to MLK, and I'm just done fighting for civil rights. Think about it. That's what these Bernie are busters, and I am one. Okay? So we're all on the same page. But the ones that are only Bernie, the hashtag only Bernies, those are the people that are in the cult of personality. And we need to bring them over to help us with Jill. We all still believe the same thing. The only difference is that some of us are distinctly for the movement and others are distinctly for the man. And one man doth not make a revolution. And until you understand that, what's going to happen every single time? They're going to keep clipping our legs out from under us. We're fighting an entrenched enemy that's got all the cards. The only thing we have is an understanding of what we're fighting for. So for those activists that are upset because people are too passionate, or maybe they're a little angry, or maybe they're not saying, way to go, you know, yay, you. You know, for these people that have the luxury of being in the 1% already, that take activism as just sort of a course that they can do whenever they want, put it away when they want, pick it back up when they want, put it away. I got news for you, folks. People like myself who've got a good job. We got the degrees, we got the education, we got all that happy stuff, but we're struggling mightily. I tell you what, if you looked at my inflow and my outflow, you'd be like, holy crap, how's this guy surviving? On one hand, if you didn't see the outflow and you only saw the inflow, you'd be like, what the hell is this guy bitching about? He's doing pretty damn good. And you look on the other side, you'd be like, oh my God, no wonder. And I have not one single credit card in my name, just so you understand the way the market killed us during the recession. Many of us have still yet to dig out. And I think that when people don't have the same struggles, it's really, really easy to just sort of put the revolution to back up on the shelf. I'd like to do it more organized. I'd like to have better tools. I'd like to have better people that are more united and don't say harmful things and upset me. We have to take people where they are, because where they are is where the revolution is. Their struggle is our struggle. That's why the Dakota Pipeline is so important right now, to block that and to help them. That's why when you see poverty and you see people struggling with medical bills, it's our job to fight for them now. And the only person fighting for us right now is Jill Stein. That's it. I didn't ask for it to be Jill Stein. You didn't ask for it to be Jill Stein. I didn't ask for Bernie to get robbed. He didn't ask to get robbed. It happened. 2 tears in a bucket. You know the rest. We got to move on. You know, can you imagine being on a battlefield, hypothetically? You look down, your captain just got killed. You're like, hey, man, I'm done. No mas, no mas, I'm done. Dude's dead, I'm done. I can't do it anymore. That's what people that are doing this whole still Bernie thing are doing to our movement. That's exactly it. And I love Bernie Sanders. I did. I fought my ass off for the man. And I am not as passionate for Jill. Although I am very, very for Jill, I don't have that emotional attachment to my runner-up. I'm not going to lie. I don't. And that's okay. Everything is not an emotional roller coaster, folks. Sometimes you just have to eat your peas. To quote Obama. It's very important that we get our fellow burners to support Jill right now before it's too late. After November, after we've flexed our progressive muscles to show that we are still a movement and we have to be considered and reckoned with, after that, then we can talk about uniting so we can help govern this nation while the powers that be are in play. Because we have to govern still, right? But that doesn't mean we have to stop fighting. That doesn't mean we have to go back to sleep and start supporting the wrong things. Okay? It means we have to stay committed to our values, committed to our mission, committed to educating people in advance of an election year. We've got to keep the light on, folks, and it's up to you and me to do that. Can I count on your support to help me do that? Can I? I really, really hope that every one of you finds a way to get past your lackluster feelings for Jill. And I understand it. I kid you not. I have countless emails, countless fan mail, if you will, saying, I want to support Jill like you do, Steve, but I don't know how to. And I write back, I'm like, I get it. Jill is an awesome person. I've met her. I've talked to her. I like her. But she's not Bernie. Not in terms of the passion she brings, right? She's passionate. It just doesn't have the same echo, right? It just doesn't have the same resonance. And that's okay. It's okay. But do you want her to have a bad comb over? Or do you want her to run a Clinton Foundation? No? Then you've got Jill. You talk about Gary Johnson. Gary Johnson slashes and burns. He's ready to rip all the freaking safety nets out. He's against war and he's against this, that, and the other. He's not. He's only against government intervention. Don't ever confuse it. It's totally different. And he can always couch that the same way, every single issue. I'm against the drug war. No, you're not. You're just against the government in the drug war. I'm against this. No, you're not. You're just against the government being involved in it. That's the deal. So the last person standing is Jill Stein. And we've got to fight for her, whether we get the case of the good feels or not. And tell the people out there whining and complaining about the movement is just too divisive, so I'm going to go huddle off in my little area over here away from the bad Bernie supporters, and I'm going to just be with the good Bernie supporters. Tell them we don't need you. We got business to take care of. We got to fight today. And tomorrow, if they're still awake, maybe then we'll work together. But right now, they're obviously checking out, and they're wrapped up in their own elitist ideas that have nothing to do with those still struggling right now. And I am one of them. This is Steve with Real Progressives, hoping you keep up the fight on this holiday weekend. Have a great day, everyone.